The Trump administration is under scrutiny tonight over the Justice Department's handling of the release of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein today. At least 16 files disappeared from the DOJ's website, including a photograph showing President Trump. Hundreds of pages were also fully redacted, upsetting survivors and some lawmakers.
The Epstein Files Transparency Act required the Department of Justice to release unclassified Epstein records. So the Trump DOJ released them, then deleted some, then redacted things that didn't need redacting, then tried passing off publicly available photos as new evidence, and then acted confused about why anyone noticed or cared.
That doesn't sound shady at all.
This is what transparency looks like now under the Trump administration.
On Friday, the Justice Department released just a fraction of the overall Epstein files. Why didn't the Justice Department meet that Friday deadline?
Good morning. So it's very simple and very clear. The statute also requires us to protect victims. And so the reason why we are still reviewing documents and still continuing our process is simply that, to protect victims.
Bullshit! Because that explanation falls apart immediately. What actually happened is that they waited until the very last possible day to release a fraction of the files while withholding anything that painted Donald Trump in a negative light. This wasn't about protecting victims. This was about protecting Trump. Todd Blanche will always believe that Donald Trump is the victim. That was true when he was Trump's personal attorney, and that is especially true now that he's Deputy Attorney General under Pam Bondi.
You're talking about protecting the victims. The law directed the Justice Department to, quote, release internal DOJ communications, including emails, memos, meeting notes concerning decisions to charge, not charge, investigate, or decline to investigate Epstein or his associates. That's the crux of what many of the victims or the survivors say they want to see. Why wasn't that information prioritized in the first release, Mr. Blanche?
Well, first of all, it was. And there are numerous documents released on Friday that address what you just quoted from the statute, that address internal communications within the Department of Justice and internal communications between law enforcement and the Department of Justice. But it's for the same reason. Because many of those internal communications talk about victims. Many of those internal back and forth between prosecutors and law enforcement talk about victims and their stories. And that has to be redacted.
And here's the sick irony. In their rush to shield Trump, they actually identified a victim by failing to properly redact her name.
Are you kidding me?
So congratulations, guys. Way to protect the victims.
And by the way, everybody expects us to redact that. So the same complaints that we're hearing yesterday and even this morning from Democrats and from others screaming loudly from a hill about lack of production on Friday, imagine if we had released tons of information around victims. That would be the true crime. That would be the true wrong.
Blanche is lying through his teeth. Have you actually looked at the redactions that they're claiming are about victim protection?
We'll talk about blacking out. I don't know if I can get a close-up of my phone. This is one of the documents that the Justice Department released. It's 100 pages.
Right.
This is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. It's all black. It's just 100 pages of redaction. That's the transparency we're getting here.
The document was ordered unsealed by a judge, so when the DOJ shows up with pages completely blacked out, it makes you doubt everything else they're releasing. If they'll ignore a court order there, then why trust them with anything else?
Transparency Act prohibits redactions, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Has anything been redacted on that basis?
Absolutely, positively not.
Bullshit.
And that's another trend that is just simply false. There were a number of photographs that were pulled down after being released on Friday. That's because a judge in New York has ordered us to listen to any victim or victim rights group if they have any concerns about the material that we're putting up.
According to Blanche, if anyone, say, I don't know, Donald Trump or someone in the White House, flags a concern about a photo or document, the DOJ has to take it down.
So we are in every way, shape, and form complying with the statute?
No, they are not abiding. And all three judges who released the grand jury material said that our law trumps the prior law. That's just common sense, Law School 101. Yet Todd Blanche is using a different theory that wouldn't survive first contact with any court, which is he's trying to say that prior laws override our law. That's not the way this works.
Which, by the way, is what President Trump has been asking us to do since before he was elected.
Blanche and Bondi keep claiming that Trump wanted these files released all along, except no, that's another lie. Trump never pushed for the release of the Epstein files. He only talked about them when he was asked about it on Fox News.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
And once Trump took office, he did everything possible to delay the release. He gaslit the public by re-releasing old files under Epstein Files Phase 1. He got visibly angry when reporters kept asking him about Epstein.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
He had FBI agents working around the clock to redact his name from the files. He pressured Charlie Kirk to stop talking about Epstein altogether.
I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York. I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide.
3 days later.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine.
He had Mike Johnson weaponize a government shutdown to stop a discharge petition. He called Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor for asking for transparency. And then, after losing the vote to release the files, he signed the bill in private, which is a very strange thing to do for someone who supposedly wanted these files out for years. Last-minute shopping during the holidays are the worst. You're probably running out of ideas, what to buy, the stores are packed, and forget about finding parking. Aura Frames is the best last-minute solution with a gift that feels thoughtful and personal. When it comes to gift giving, especially during the holidays, I typically struggle with ideas of what to buy my family, so I just tend to put it off a bit because I want to get them something special, something memorable. And Aura Frames, in my opinion, is the best gift for that. Aura Frames lets you share photos or videos from any device and they will instantly appear on the frame wherever it is in the world. It can be at your home, office, or even someone's home across the country or world, wherever you want to share it. At night, when you turn off the lights, your frame also turns off to save energy and let you sleep. And speaking of time, it only takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. Just download the Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi. Preload your photos before it ships and keep adding from anywhere, anytime. Add a message before your gift arrives, then share photos and videos effortlessly, straight from your phone all year long. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag, so it's ready to gift. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. And now, my parents have one, my family in Mexico has one, and my in-laws have one, so even though we may not always be in the same place, we can always share the moments that make us feel close. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code GABE at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code GABE. Terms and conditions apply. And before MAGA comes at me with, what about Biden? Why didn't he release the files while he was in office? Let's clear this up. 1. Biden didn't campaign on releasing the files. Trump did. 2. The DOJ is not controlled by the president, no matter how badly Trump and MAGA want it to be. 3. The Epstein materials were still tied to an ongoing case involving Ghislaine Maxwell and her appeals. And finally, if we apply MAGA's logic, then why the didn't Trump release the files after Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty or after Jeffrey Epstein allegedly committed suicide? See how easily that can be put back onto Trump? But also, let's not forget that Donald Trump was good friends with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is. Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
I don't know that, but I do know that
she has. She's been arrested for that. You know that.
Her friend or boyfriend,
Epstein,
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that
so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
she's a child sex alleged child sex trafficker.
Big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
Awkward. After the DOJ released just 3,900 files, a small fraction of what they actually have, documents started disappearing. One of the biggest was Image 468, a photo sitting in a drawer showing Trump, Melania, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell. House Oversight Democrats flagged its disappearance and tagged Pam Bondi with one simple question: what else is being covered up? Because deleting files after release is not redaction, it's alteration, and when every alteration benefits the same person, Donald Trump, people notice. The DOJ is now digging the hole even deeper. They're claiming that newly redacted documents were never in their possession to begin with. That's a lie. They were released, people saw them, screenshots exist. Needless to say, their tweets are raising even more questions. And then Blanche was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell.
In July, you interviewed her in Florida, where she was serving a 20-year sentence in federal prison. Just a week later, Maxwell was moved to a more permissive prison camp in Texas. Why was she moved just days after you interviewed her, Mr. Blanche?
So that's a Bureau of Prison Security issue that I will not talk about.
Did you have anything to do with it? Did you have anything to do with it?
Let me finish. First of all, I am responsible for the Bureau of Prisons. So every decision that they make lands on my desk to the extent it needs to.
Blanche says that he won't discuss the transfer, yet admits that every decision lands on his desk. And within a few days of meeting with her and believing her lies, he got her transferred.
Suspicious. At the time that I met Miss Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity towards her, and the institution she was in, she was suffering numerous threats against her life.
Oh, give me a fucking break. This is a slap in the face to every victim who was abused and trafficked by Epstein and Maxwell. They say it's about protecting victims, but they're willing to move a convicted child sex trafficker to a low-security prison because of threats.
You know, survivors were outraged by all of this, especially the fact that she was moved. Why talk to Ghislaine Maxwell and not the survivors, Mr. Blanche?
What you just said is completely false. We will talk to any survivor at any time, which is something that we
have you
said
talked to them
from day one.
But have you talked to them?
Of course. The attorney, yes, the attorney, first of all, they have to want to speak with us. The Attorney General and I spoke with a victims' rights group as recently as Thursday.
Talking to a generic victims' rights group is not the same as speaking to Epstein's victims. If it isn't clear by now, Trump's DOJ solely exists to protect Trump, not the victims harmed by Epstein. Files disappear, photos get scrubbed, victims get exposed, predators get sympathy. This is not justice, it's a fucking cover-up.
What of this do you think falls into the category of protecting victims, and what falls into the category of cover-up? Because obviously there is a very strong interest in making sure the victims are protected.
Yeah, I'd say probably 0 and 100. They've not shown any deference or respect for the victims at all, for the survivors of this nightmare. And it's all about covering up things that, for whatever reason, Donald Trump doesn't want to go public, either about himself, other members of his family, friends, Jeffrey Epstein, or just the social, business, cultural network that he was involved in for at least a decade, if not longer.
So do you think this actions that the Department of Justice are taking on this are specifically designed to protect Donald Trump?
Well, what else? I mean, that's their whole business model. In fact, they're trying to reorganize American constitutional jurisprudence and the rule of law around the idea that the entire executive branch serves one guy. That's the unitary executive theory, that this is all about serving whatever Donald Trump wants. So yeah, I can't imagine what other interests they have in mind.
Thanks for watching What Was That? If you want more episodes, articles, and breakdowns, go to whatwasthat.show. Join the community and become a paid subscriber today. It's just me behind the scenes, so every bit of support really makes a difference. And if you'd rather listen on the go, you can find What Was That on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows. Until next time, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?